Hi, AI innovators. I'm Julie, your Edibot Learning Guide, your thought partner, and your co-pilot on this AI journey. And today, we're doing something powerful. We're simplifying AI. Because AI didn't just appear out of nowhere with chatbots and viral headlines. It started decades ago, when mathematicians were racing to break encrypted communications during World War II. That moment sparked the first real vision of a thinking machine. From there, vacuum tubes the size of rooms, transistors the size of a grain of corn, microchips that fit on your fingertip, neural networks that learn from mistakes, and in 2012, the big bang of modern AI. When massive data, breakthrough algorithms, and GPU computing power collided, now AI isn't theoretical, it's everywhere. In your phone, in your workflow, and in your future. In this lesson, you're going to learn the real origin story of AI and why it took decades to mature, the breakthrough formula that changed everything, data plus models plus compute power, why AI adoption is moving faster than cars, computers, or the internet ever did, and what that means for your career. Here's the truth. AI isn't magic. It's layered innovation. And once you understand the layers, you stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered. So let's simplify it. Let's decode it. And let's move from spectator to innovator. Let's go and enjoy our AI video journey. Click the link in the next slide.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the AI revolution. I mean, how did a technology that's been cooking for decades suddenly feel like it's everywhere, all at once? Let's break it down.
All right, so let's kick things off with a question I'm pretty sure has crossed your mind. When is the average person actually going to start using AI?
Well, the answer might surprise you, because for a lot of people, it's already happening. Take the mom who uses her AI buddy Tim to whip up new enchilada recipes. The line between some niche tech toy and a daily helper, it is getting blurry, fast.
And if you look at the professional world, wow, it's moving at lightning speed. We're seeing massive adoption, especially among the folks who build our tech. I mean, look at this. Almost half of all IT pros are already using AI at work, and another third are playing around with it. This isn't some far-off futuristic thing anymore. For so many people, it is happening right now.
So, this really gets us to the big question, doesn't it? Why now? How did we go from science fiction to, getting recipes from a chatbot? To really get it, we need to look back at the sparks that lit this incredible fire. So, let's trace this whole thing back to the beginning. We're going to look at the key breakthroughs, the sort of foundational dominoes that absolutely had to fall for the AI we have today to even be possible. This whole journey didn't start with lines of code. It actually started with a really fundamental question from Alan Turing. Can machines think? And that question kind of set the stage for everything. But for decades, it was a super slow burn. See, before you can get to the smart software, you've got to have the hardware to run it on, right? That's where game changers like the transistor came in, shrinking computers from the size of a whole room down to a desktop. Then came the integrated circuit, basically cramming a ton of those transistors onto one tiny chip. That's what let us make everything smaller and just ridiculously more powerful. And speaking of hardware, you have to hear this incredible story about one company, Fairchild Semiconductor. It was such a powerhouse of talent that when its top engineers left to do their own thing, they became known as the Fairchildren. And they went on to start companies you have definitely heard of. We're talking Intel and AMD. And their legacy? It's just staggering. I mean, really think about this. The chips in your phone, in your laptop, the servers that run the entire cloud. Over 92% of all the world's computing power can trace its DNA right back to that one startup and its brilliant defectors. Incredible.
Okay, so we had the hardware foundation, but what was it that combined all these historical sparks into the absolute inferno we're seeing today? Well, it turns out it boils down to this simple but super powerful three-part formula.
The modern AI revolution really ignited when these three critical ingredients finally showed up at the party at the same time. A literal ocean of data, the algorithms smart enough to learn from it, and the raw horsepower to process it all. First up, the data. The internet created a data explosion. Companies like Google and Facebook were suddenly creating more information every single year than all of humanity had created in the entire century before it. This became the fuel, the textbook for training AI. Second, you need the models. These are the brains of the whole operation. Brilliant people like Geoffrey Hinton, who's often called the godfather of AI, developed these really complex algorithms called neural networks. You can think of them as computer systems kind of modeled after the human brain, designed to spot patterns. This was the magic that let machines actually learn from all that data. All this research really came to a head in 2012. There was a model called AlexNet, and it just completely destroyed the competition in an image recognition challenge. This moment was so important, so transformative, that researchers in the field literally call it the Big Bang of modern AI. And finally, you need the engine. All that data and those complex models needed an incredible amount of horsepower to run. And this is where a company called NVIDIA made a huge company-defining bet. They figured out that the same graphics cards, or GPUs, that make video games look so good were also perfect for AI. So they pivoted their entire business. Today, NVIDIA hardware powers more than 90% of the world's AI systems. So that's the trifecta, right? Data, models, and compute. That explains how AI became possible. But there's another piece to this puzzle, and it explains why it's spreading faster than any technology we've ever seen in human history. If you look back through history, you see this really clear pattern. The car took about 45 years to become widespread. The personal computer, more than 50. But then, things started to speed up. The internet only took about 10 years to reach pretty much everyone. The smartphone, about 14. The trend here is undeniable. The time it takes for a new technology to completely change our world is getting shorter and shorter. So why is AI's adoption being so supercharged? Well, it comes down to 3 key things that make it totally different from everything that came before. Let's break them down. First off, access. We don't need to go out and buy a special new device. AI runs on the smartphones and laptops we already own. Second, it's just so easy to use. You don't have to be a programmer. You can literally just talk to it. And third, precision. The more all of us use it, the smarter it gets, creating this powerful feedback loop that's constantly making the technology better and better. And that's the crucial point here. This revolution isn't just something that's happening to us. We are all a part of it, whether we realize it or not. So the real question becomes, what do you do now? So how can you get in on this? Well, the advice is pretty simple. First, don't be afraid. Just get started. Second, just play with it. Experiment with the tools when you're not on a deadline and see what they can really do. Go find your own enchilada recipe moment. And third, make a commitment to learning the basics. You know, it's so important to remember that at the dawn of every huge technology shift, there were always plenty of doubters. People who thought cars were just loud, clunky novelties. But at the end of the day, the best way to really understand where the future is headed is to have a hand in building it yourself. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've seen how decades of hardware breakthroughs, plus that perfect storm of data, models, and compute power have brought us right here, to this moment. So we'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. The last big tech revolution put a supercomputer in every single pocket. What will this one give us?
From early encrypted code breaking, to silicon chips, to neural networks, to deep learning breakthroughs, to generative AI transforming how we work, create, and think. That's not just history, that's acceleration. Here are your 4 big takeaways. AI is built on decades of layered breakthroughs, not overnight hype. The modern explosion came from data plus algorithms plus GPU compute power. Technology adoption cycles are shrinking dramatically. AI is becoming a core productivity layer, like electricity for the digital age. And here's the part I really want you to remember. You're not late. You're early. The people who understand AI fundamentals now, they won't fear disruption. They'll shape it. As the pace of AI continues to accelerate, clarity becomes your advantage. If this lesson helped you see AI differently, like it, share it, and pass it along to another AI innovator who needs insight over noise. This is just the beginning of your AI journey. I'm Julie, your EduBot guide and thought partner, and I'll see you next time as we continue building your confidence and capability in this new AI era. Wishing you clarity, courage, and continued success ahead.